close your eyes and let your breathing slow down. Tonight, we'll journey back through time to discover the world of ancient Rome. You don't need to remember any of these facts. Just let them wash over you like gentle waves. Allow your mind to wander through marble columns and stone roads. Rest here in this peaceful moment. Let sleep come naturally as we explore together. Picture a map of the ancient world spread before you. The Roman Empire at its height controlled approximately 2 million square miles of territory. That's like covering most of Europe, parts of Africa, and chunks of Asia, all under one rule. Imagine standing on a hill and knowing that everything you see from miles and miles belongs to the same empire. Let that vastness settle in your mind. Time moves differently when empires rise and fall. The Roman Empire lasted for over 500 years, from 27 BC to AD 476 in the West. 5 centuries of history unfolding, generations upon generations living their lives under Roman rule. Children growing up, having children of their own, their children having children, all within this single, enduring civilization. In the heart of Rome stood a massive stone amphitheatre. The Colosseum could seat over 50,000 spectators. 50,000 people gathering in one place, their voices rising together. The murmur of excited crowds, the rustle of togas, the echo of footsteps on ancient stone. Even today, you can walk through those same arches. Roman roads stretched like arteries across the known world. Their network covered over 250,000 miles, with about 50,000 miles made of perfectly fitted stone. Some of these stone roads still exist today, nearly 2,000 years later. The Romans built things to last, each stone placed with care and precision, roads that would outlive the empire itself. Before there was an empire, there was a republic. Julius Caesar played a significant role in the events leading to the end of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. One man's ambition changing the course of history. The moment when everything shifted from what was to what would be. History turning on the actions of a single person. The Roman Empire sprawled across 3 continents. It included provinces in Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Romans walked on African sand, European forests, and Middle Eastern deserts. All of it connected by roads, laws, and a shared sense of belonging to something greater. Unity across incredible diversity. Words have power to outlive empires. Latin, the language of Rome, was a precursor to the Romance languages. When Romans spoke, they planted seeds that would grow into Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Romanian. Their daily conversations becoming the foundation of how millions speak today. Language flowing like a river through time. Water flowed into Rome like liquid life. The aqueducts could carry millions of gallons of water to the city every day, with estimates ranging from 200 to 300 million gallons. Picture that much water rushing through stone channels, enough to fill thousands of modern swimming pools daily. Clean, fresh water arriving from distant mountains. The city drinking from springs dozens of miles away. Augustus became the first emperor of Rome in 27 BC. One man taking a title that would define power for centuries. Emperor, the word itself carries weight even now. Augustus marking the beginning of a new age. The moment when Rome transformed from republic to empire. A single decision reshaping the world. How many people lived in this vast empire? At its peak, the Roman Empire's population was estimated at around 70 to 100 million people. Nearly 100 million souls living under Roman law. Farmers and soldiers, merchants and slaves, all part of one enormous civilization. Each with their own story, their own daily struggles and joys. Strength built the empire, but discipline maintained it. Rome's military prowess secured its vast territories with legions of professional soldiers. These weren't temporary armies, but career warriors. Men who trained together, fought together, and grew old together. Their shields locked, their steps in rhythm, marching across continents. Laws written on bronze tablets still echo in modern courtrooms. Rome's law and governance systems were influential in shaping Western legal traditions. Justice, contracts, property rights, concepts that began with Roman minds. Their ideas about fairness and order spreading far beyond their borders. Legal principles that outlasted the empire itself. In the center of Rome, people gathered each day. The Roman Forum was the center of day-to-day life in ancient Rome. Imagine the voices echoing between marble columns, merchants calling out their wares, politicians giving speeches, friends meeting for conversation. The heartbeat of the empire happening in this one bustling square. Even today, architects marvel at Roman engineering. The Pantheon remains the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome. Built nearly 2,000 years ago without modern tools or machinery. Yet it still stands, still inspires awe. Roman hands creating something that defies time itself. Power in Rome flowed through ancient institutions. The Roman Senate was a political institution that functioned in various forms throughout Roman history. Senators debating, arguing, making decisions that would affect millions. Old men in togas wielding influence through words and wisdom. Democracy taking shape in marble halls. At the top of the Roman hierarchy sat one man. The emperor was the supreme ruler, with authority over the military and the state. Ultimate power concentrated in a single person. The weight of an empire resting on one individual's shoulders. Every major decision flowing through one mind. Laws need to be written down to be remembered. Roman law was first codified in the 12 tables during the early Republic. Bronze tablets displaying rules for all to see. No more secret laws or arbitrary judgments. Justice made visible and permanent. Ambition in Rome followed a predictable path. The cursus honorum was a structured path of political offices in Roman society. Young men knowing exactly which positions to seek, in which order. A ladder of power with clearly defined rungs. Career progression mapped out by tradition. Not everyone in the Roman world was equal. Roman citizenship offered legal and social benefits and was highly sought after. To be Roman meant protection under law, the right to vote, the right to a trial, a precious status that people would work their entire lives to achieve. Governing an empire required trusted representatives. Roman governors or proconsuls managed provinces in the name of the Senate. Men travelling far from Rome to govern foreign lands, carrying Roman authority to the edges of the known world. Local rule guided by distant wisdom. The Roman military machine was precisely organized. Each legion consisted of approximately 4,000 to 6,000 soldiers. Thousands of men moving as one unit. Their armor gleaming in the sun, their standards held high. Discipline and training forged into an unstoppable force. Before Christianity, Romans worshipped many gods. Roman state religion initially involved polytheistic beliefs with a pantheon of gods. Jupiter ruling the heavens, Mars governing war, Venus blessing love. temples throughout the city honoring different aspects of divine power, a god for every human need and desire. Some Roman roads became legendary. The Via Appia was one of the earliest and strategically most important Roman roads, a highway connecting Rome to southern Italy. Soldiers marching south, merchants traveling north, all on the same perfectly paved stones. A road that made an empire possible. Military victory brought the highest honor. The concept of Roman triumphs was a prestigious recognition of military victories. Successful generals parading through Rome with their captured treasures, the entire city celebrating conquest. Glory made visible in golden processions. For 2 centuries, peace reigned across the Roman world. The Pax Romana was a period of relative peace and stability across the Roman Empire. Children grew up without knowing war. Trade flourished, arts bloomed, cities prospered. An entire civilization enjoying the fruits of security. Roman laws evolved and endured. The Justinian Code influenced future legal systems across Europe. Legal principles refined over centuries, codified for posterity. Justice systematized and preserved. Rules that would guide nations long after Rome fell. Control came through carrots and sticks. Rome maintained control through a combination of military occupation and local alliances. Some territories were conquered, others were convinced. The wise choice of when to use force and when to offer friendship. Power balanced with diplomacy. Romans admired Greek beauty and wisdom. Roman art and architecture were heavily influenced by Greek culture. Greek columns supporting Roman buildings. Greek stories inspiring Roman sculptures. One civilization learning from another, building upon ancient foundations. Creativity flowing across cultural boundaries. The Roman economy rested on 3 pillars. It relied on agriculture, trade, and slave labor. Farms feeding cities, merchants connecting distant lands, enslaved people providing labor. A system both productive and cruel. Prosperity built on inequality. Roman society had clearly defined levels. It was hierarchical, with patricians and plebeians as the main social classes. Patricians born to privilege, plebeians earning their way. Everyone knowing their place in the social order. Status determining opportunity from birth to death. Roman engineers revolutionized building. Their innovations included concrete and the arch. Concrete that could set underwater, arches that could span great distances. Simple materials combined in brilliant ways. Technology that would reshape how humans build. Time itself needed Roman organization. Julius Caesar reformed the calendar, leading to the Julian calendar. 365 days, with an extra day every fourth year. Caesar giving humanity a more accurate way to measure time. Order imposed even on the passage of days. Entertainment in Rome could be deadly. Gladiatorial games were a popular form of entertainment, men fighting for their lives while thousands watched and cheered. Combat transformed into spectacle, life and death as afternoon amusement. Trade required standardized money. The Roman Empire saw widespread use of coinage. Silver denarii and gold aurei carrying Caesar's face across the world. Money that was trusted from Britain to Egypt. Economic unity through common currency. Roman cities were remarkably clean. Sewers and sanitation were advanced, with the Cloaca Maxima being a notable example. Underground rivers carrying waste away from the living. Public health protected by invisible infrastructure. Engineering serving hygiene in ways most people never saw. Most Romans lived in crowded apartments. Insulae were multi-story buildings where urban Romans resided. Families packed into small rooms, sharing walls and stairways. The wealthy in spacious villas, the poor stacked vertically. Urban density creating both community and tension. Certain provinces fed the empire. Egypt and Sicily were crucial for grain supply and resources. Ships loaded with wheat sailing to Rome. Distant lands feeding the capital. The empire's stomach depending on far-flung farmers. Roman armies mastered the art of siege. They utilized advanced siege engines and tactics in warfare. Catapults hurling stones, battering rams breaking gates, towers rolling toward enemy walls. Patience and engineering overcoming even the strongest fortifications. Roman law covered all aspects of life. It included laws of contracts, property, and family relationships, rules for buying and selling, for inheritance and marriage, legal frameworks that made complex society possible, order emerging from carefully written regulations. Roman concrete has outlasted the empire. Opus Cementicium had impressive longevity and strength. Buildings standing for 2 millennia, stronger now than when they were built. A recipe that modern science still studies and admires. Durability that defies understanding. Romans accepted ancient Greek ideas about the cosmos. Ptolemy's geocentric model of the universe was widely accepted during Roman times. Earth at the center, planets and stars revolving around it. A universe that made humans feel important and central. Scientific theory that would endure for over 1,000 years. Medicine flourished under Roman rule. The Romans made significant advancements in medical knowledge and public health. Hospitals for soldiers, clean water for cities, surgical instruments for doctors. Healing systematized and supported by state resources. Roman engineers harnessed water's power. They constructed sophisticated water mills for grinding grain. Rivers turned into sources of mechanical energy. Flowing water transformed into daily bread. Natural forces serving human needs through clever engineering. Romans mapped their vast empire. Roman maps, like the Tabula Peutingeriana, illustrated the empire's road network. Every road marked, every city located, every distance measured. The known world reduced to lines on parchment. Navigation made possible through careful documentation. Romans measured time without clocks. They used sundials and water clocks to track the hours. Shadows and flowing water marking the passage of time. Simple devices creating order in daily life. Time made visible through shadow and stream. One physician influenced medicine for centuries. Galen was a prominent doctor in the Roman Empire whose ideas shaped medical practice. His anatomical studies and surgical techniques becoming standard knowledge. One brilliant mind advancing healing for generations. Medical wisdom that would guide doctors for over 1,000 years. Romans wrote down their farming knowledge. Agricultural treatises documented techniques for crops and livestock. Best practices preserved in writing, passed from farmer to farmer. Practical wisdom ensuring food security. Experience transformed into teachable knowledge. Roman farmers mastered water management. They developed advanced irrigation systems to support agriculture. Channels directing water precisely where crops needed it. Desert transformed into farmland through careful water control. Engineering making the impossible harvest possible. Greek architectural beauty found new Roman expression. Roman architecture incorporated and refined Greek styles, popularizing Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian columns. Ancient elegance adapted for Roman purposes, beauty serving both function and imperial pride. One Roman architect wrote the definitive guide. Vitruvius authored De Architectura, a treatise on architecture and engineering. His principles of firmness, commodity, and delight guiding builders for centuries. Wisdom about creating structures that would endure and inspire. Roman aqueducts were marvels of engineering. They demonstrated advanced hydraulic skills, carrying water across vast distances. Stone channels following the gentle slope of hillsides. Gravity guided by human intelligence to serve human needs. Caesar's calendar reform was remarkably accurate. The Julian calendar closely approximated the solar year, correcting earlier systems. 365 1/4 days. Time measured with precision that would last for centuries. Romans counted their people regularly. The census was conducted approximately every 5 years to assess population and taxes. Every citizen recorded, every family counted. Government knowing its people in order to govern them effectively. Roman baths were centers of community life. They served as significant public health and social centers. People gathering not just to wash, but to socialize, exercise, and conduct business. Cleanliness combined with community. Personal hygiene becoming a shared experience. Mediterranean crops thrived under Roman cultivation. The Romans grew olives, grapes, and wheat across their territories. Olive oil for cooking, wine for celebration, grain for daily bread. The essentials of life cultivated with care and expertise. Grapes grew throughout the Roman world. Viticulture was an important agricultural activity across the empire. Vineyards on Italian hills, Spanish plains, and Gallic slopes. Wine connecting distant provinces through shared taste. Celebration flowing from common vines. Roman artists created lasting beauty. Elaborate mosaics and frescoes depicted daily life and mythology. Tiny colored stones forming grand pictures. Paint on plaster telling eternal stories. Art making permanent what was temporary. Beauty preserved in stone and pigment. Roman temples borrowed from earlier traditions. They incorporated Etruscan and Greek architectural principles. Ancient wisdom supporting Roman devotion. sacred spaces built on foundations of inherited knowledge. Religion expressed through borrowed beauty. Roman military formations were precisely coordinated. The legions demonstrated advancements in battlefield formations and strategies. Soldiers moving like parts of one great machine. Individual courage organized into collective strength. Victory through discipline and coordination. Romans studied the stars above. Astronomy and astrology were practiced by scholars and the elite. The movement of planets predicting earthly events. Heaven and earth connected through careful observation. Ancient science mixed with mystical belief. Roman concrete worked even underwater. They pioneered its use in underwater construction, harbors and bridges built beneath the waves. Engineering that conquered both land and sea. Construction extending into previously impossible environments. Pliny the Elder compiled human knowledge. His Naturalis Historia was a comprehensive natural encyclopedia. Everything from animals to minerals, from geography to art. One man's attempt to record all that was known, knowledge organized and preserved for future generations. Roman bridges spanned impossible distances. Structures like the Pons Aemilius showcased their engineering prowess. Stone arches carrying roads across rushing rivers. Permanence imposed on flowing water. Connection created where nature provided separation. Roman sailors read the wind and waves. They used Mediterranean wind patterns for navigation, seasonal breezes becoming reliable highways. Natural forces harnessed for human travel. The sea transformed from barrier into pathway. Information traveled swiftly across the empire. The postal system, cursus publicus, facilitated communication between provinces. Official messages racing along stone roads. Distance overcome through organized efficiency. Words traveling faster than armies. Roman poets created immortal verses. Latin literature, including works by Virgil and Ovid, remains influential today. Stories and poems that have survived 2 millennia. Words written in ancient Rome, still moving hearts today. Literature transcending the civilization that created it. Roman justice influences modern courts. Their legal principles shaped the development of many modern legal systems. Concepts of evidence, procedure, and rights flowing from Roman minds. Ancient wisdom guiding contemporary justice. Legal foundations laid in marble forums. Ancient texts preserved through Roman care. The preservation of Greek and Roman writings supported the Renaissance. Scrolls copied and recopied, knowledge passing from hand to hand. Ancient wisdom surviving through careful preservation. The past speaking to the future through written words. Roman military tactics shaped European warfare. Their organization and strategies influenced later armies. Disciplined formations and coordinated tactics becoming models for future generals. Military wisdom outlasting the empire that created it. Roman villas combined luxury with productivity. They were centers of economic activity, featuring luxurious living quarters. Beautiful homes surrounded by productive farms. Comfort and commerce united in elegant estates. Wealth displayed through both beauty and efficiency. Roman measurements influenced European standards. Their system affected regional standards, though largely replaced by metric systems. Ancient ways of measuring distance and weight, leaving traces in later civilizations. Practical knowledge spreading beyond political boundaries. Roman festivals evolved into modern celebrations. Traditions like Saturnalia contributed to later holiday customs, including Christmas. Ancient joy transformed but not forgotten. Celebration flowing from empire to empire through changed but continuous traditions. Integration created unity from diversity. The inclusion of conquered peoples contributed to Roman cohesion by spreading culture and law. Different tribes becoming one people. Strength through inclusion rather than exclusion. Empire built through absorption rather than destruction. Roman influence outlasted Roman power. Their art and culture persisted long after the Western Empire's fall, influencing Byzantium and the Renaissance. Ideas proving more durable than armies. Cultural influence extending far beyond political control. Multiple forces brought down the Western Empire. The fall of Rome resulted from a combination of internal and external pressures. Economic troubles, military challenges, political instability. Great civilizations ending not with a bang, but with accumulated troubles. Christianity transformed from persecution to power. Early Christianity spread within the Roman Empire, eventually becoming the official religion. Faith that began in hidden gatherings, eventually ruling from imperial palaces. Spiritual revolution changing political reality. Eastern Rome preserved Roman traditions. The Byzantine Empire maintained Roman law and culture in the East. Constantinople carrying on what Rome began. Continuity through geographical shift. Empire relocated but not ended. Romans extracted wealth from the earth. They employed hydraulic mining techniques to extract valuable minerals. Water pressure breaking apart mountainsides to reveal hidden gold. Engineering applied to the ancient dream of finding treasure. Roman infrastructure outlasted Roman rule. The empire left a legacy of civic infrastructure in former territories. Roads, aqueducts, and buildings serving new civilizations. Physical permanence extending beyond political control. Roman schools shaped educated minds. Education emphasized rhetoric, philosophy, and law. Young Romans learning to speak persuasively, think clearly, and govern justly. Knowledge as preparation for leadership and citizenship. Games and festivals united diverse populations. Roman celebrations promoted social cohesion among different peoples. Shared entertainment creating shared identity. Joy as a tool of integration and unity. Roman citizenship eventually expanded to all. It came to include all free inhabitants of the empire. Legal status that began as privilege, becoming universal right. Inclusion as the ultimate imperial policy. Roman venues inspired modern architecture. Amphitheaters and stadiums served as models for contemporary sports facilities. Ancient entertainment spaces echoing in modern designs. Architectural solutions transcending their original purposes. The Roman Empire facilitated cultural exchange. It enabled interactions across the Mediterranean world. Ideas, art, and customs flowing freely across vast distances. Political unity creating cultural diversity through increased contact. The Latin alphabet spread across the world. Adapted from the Etruscans, it became the basis for many modern alphabets. Roman letters carrying human thoughts across continents and centuries. Communication standardized through imperial influence. Roman walls marked the edge of civilization. Military fortifications like Hadrian's Wall defined territorial boundaries. stone barriers separating the known from the unknown. Engineering used to create definitive limits in an unlimited world. Peace encouraged prosperity. The concept of Pax Romana promoted trade and economic growth, security enabling commerce, stability fostering wealth, military success creating civilian prosperity. Roman religious policy evolved over time. Tolerance varied, sometimes allowing coexistence, sometimes including persecution, especially of Christianity before it became the state religion. Faith and politics intertwining in complex ways. Spiritual questions becoming matters of imperial policy. Roman architectural influence persists today. It remains evident in Western civic buildings, columns, domes, and arches echoing ancient Roman designs. Government buildings consciously imitating imperial architecture. The late empire faced mounting challenges. Migration and invasions tested Roman stability. Pressure from beyond the borders straining internal resources. External forces challenging internal strength. Trade connected the Roman world. Extensive routes linked provinces to distant lands. Silk from China, spices from India, amber from the north. Commerce transcending political boundaries. Roman ships controlled the Mediterranean. Naval dominance secured maritime routes. The sea becoming a Roman lake. Naval power supporting commercial prosperity. Philosophy flourished in Roman society. Stoicism and Epicureanism were popular among educated Romans. Different approaches to wisdom and happiness finding Roman adherents. Greek thought taking root in Roman soil. Roman theatre influenced Western drama. Comedy and drama from the Roman period shaped theatrical traditions. Ancient entertainment forms evolving into modern performance. Laughter and tragedy transcending their original context. Roman legal principles endure. Their laws set precedents for property rights and civil liberties. Ancient concepts of justice influencing modern courts. Legal wisdom proving timeless. The Roman legacy spans continents. It appears in languages, laws, cultural practices, and infrastructures of many countries. Imperial influence extending far beyond imperial borders. Civilization's effects outlasting civilization itself. Ancient cities shaped world history. Religious and cultural centers like Rome and Alexandria were significant to the ancient world. Urban concentration creating intellectual and spiritual innovation. Cities as crucibles of human development. Roman endings were also beginnings. The Western Empire's fall in 476 AD marked one conclusion, but Byzantine continuation lasted until 1453. 1,000 more years of Roman identity in the East. Endings that were also continuations. Rome's greatest achievement was synthesis. The empire's fusion of cultures laid groundwork for Western civilization. Greek thought, Roman law, Christian faith, and barbarian vigor combining into something new. Ancient foundations supporting modern life. Sleep now and let these ancient stories flow through your dreams.